So as we all know, there's a cost of living crisis at the moment, you know, for many of us, you know, things are a bit tight at the moment. And when you are, you know, serious about getting back in shape and committing to that sort of lifestyle for a bit, there is a potential for that you're going to have to spend more money, especially on your nutrition. And I think for a lot of people, it can switch them on to, like, you know, I haven't got the funds at the moment, I can't afford it. Which obviously I find is ridiculous, because, you know, if we do an analysis of our life, we'll find that we're wasting money on so much crap that we don't actually need. Where, you know, getting back in shape, building muscle is probably one of the best investments you'll ever make with your money. So I think it's about changing the mindset first and foremost. Like, you know, obviously this video is about doing it on a, you know, building muscle on a budget, but I think we need to change our mindset that ideally we want to be building muscles on the best budget that we can afford, and really not skimp on this, because honestly, as I said, it's probably the best investment, or one of the best investments you'll ever make. So that aside, first things first, because obviously I'm going through this at the moment myself, you know, things are tight, and I've got to watch what I spend. And, you know, I've obviously made this commitment now, and in an ideal world I'd be buying all the best quality food that I could afford, you know, and everything be organic, grass-fed, whatever. It would be the best of the best, but fortunately that's not the case at the moment, so I've got to make a compromise. So the way I do it normally, and have done it in the past, is obviously do an assessment of where you're spending your money anyway. This is just good budget management, really. So for example, at the moment I'm stopping drinking, or I've really cut back on my drinking, so I'm saving quite a bit with that. Not quite a bit, but, you know, saving a significant amount. I'm obviously not eating out as much as I was, so that's cut back. I stopped. And also decided that there's a few, like, you know, TV subscriptions and a few other little bits of stuff that I was paying out for. I don't really need that anymore. So what I'm doing then is taking that money that I was spending every month, and I'm reinvesting that back in to my nutrition, so I can afford the best types of nutrition. And again, we're talking protein really here, to be honest, that I can afford. So, you know, where I can, I'll get organic. If I can't, then I'll just compromise and go with the next best option. So I think when it comes to budgeting, if you really are in a really tight budget, I think these are the sort of options that I've gone to. And I say really, we're talking about protein here, because carbohydrates are pretty cheap generally, and also vegetables are reasonably cheap. But again, if you go on organic, that can add up, but on the whole it's still, you know, it's pretty still cost effective. But when it comes to protein, obviously that can mount up, because, you know, when you're building muscle, you are generally going to be eating more protein. So your protein consumption goes up, that means your bills, or your food bill, is going to go up as well, because obviously that's where the bulk of our money gets spent every week, you know, on our shopping list. So I say, if things are really tight, what I've always found is I'll just stick to the basics. So I won't eat steak. That become more of a treat rather than a, you know, a regular thing. Fish generally has to go, because it has become so expensive, especially organic types. You know, organic salmon is quite expensive, so that has to go. A lot of the white fish can get expensive as well, so I'll just use tin versions of them. Tin tuna, I'll have tin sardines, I'll use more like tin salmon, and again, using sparingly, but they can definitely deliver a decent protein boost, and for not a lot of money. Obviously the quality is not as good, let's be honest, but it's better than nothing. So that's first thing. When it comes to meat, as I say, I won't eat steak as much, I won't eat lamb, I don't eat pork anyway, so it'll be a chicken. Obviously I'll try and get the best type of chicken I can. If I can get free range or organic, great. If not, I'll just have to stick with the supermarket stuff. I'll obviously mix it up between fillet and thighs, because thighs are a lot cheaper than fillet. Obviously you just have to watch the fat content there, and don't overdo that. And then I'll go with obviously minced beef, generally you get the lower fat variety, and again get the best quality you can with your budget. So really, and again the final one, I'll just eat more eggs. Eggs are still very reasonable, even if you don't got organic. I mean, you can probably get a dozen for about £2, £2.50. So they're the sort of go-to budget protein options. So that's chicken fillets, chicken thighs, eggs, and sort of tinned fish, and then maybe boost that up with like some dairy stuff like cottage cheese and Greek yogurt. And I generally find that's about enough to hit my sort of daily protein goals, and that will keep your budget under control. Probably if you're on about, and again, this is just an average, maybe 120, 150 grams a day, you're probably looking at spending, depending on your protein sources, but between £5 a day, £10 a day max, which obviously is, over the course of the week with your extras, I think you can budget out for yourself. Obviously this is not for a family thing, but I think for yourself you could probably do a 10-12 quid a day on a decent amount of protein and on the veggies and the carbohydrates and any other nutrition. And I don't mean supplements in this case either. I don't believe spending a load of money on supplements, so I wouldn't invest in that. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can get some cheap protein powder, which equates to maybe £1 or £2 a shake, if that, and that'll last. But I prefer to get all my protein now from natural sources. I don't really agree with the protein powders. I just think there's too much crap, and obviously in them. And also, I think if you're on a budget, that means you're getting the lower quality. That's even worse. So if you can, I would stay away from them if possible. But I agree, they are a budget option for boosting protein. So hopefully that's given you some ideas if you are thinking about building muscle now, and you're worried that you're gonna have to spend more money. I think it certainly can be done. It's just obviously not optimal, and I think first and foremost it's about really changing mindset towards this and not really looking at things. This should be not done on a budget if possible, and that other areas, but you can cut back and invest into this, because this is, as I said, probably one of the most important investments you'll ever make, especially as you're getting in your 50s and 60s. This is key. So anyway, hope that helps. And as I said, there's a few resources in the description regarding nutrition. There's actually a full shopping list there of foods that I think you should be eating, and those show both the budget varieties and the more higher grade stuff that I've been talking about today. Anyway, if you like the channel, please subscribe and like and share, do all that great stuff, and I'll see you next one. Cheers.